It's been, I was just,
It's so early in the morning. Yeah. Something.
I was just thinking about how we met initially, and
Yeah.
we've both taken the NLP journey at the Irish Institute of
Mhm.
NLP, run by Brian Colbert and Teresa Colbert, and you know what a journey that has been, because you took all the master practitioner level as well, the same as me,
Yeah.
and then we eventually became doing a diploma in NLP mind coaching. For me, I have to say, for me, NLP has really changed my life.
Yeah.
It's given me such a wonderful, fast tool for me to be able to adapt to anything I'm learning or changing or transitioning in, and great to coach with as well. I love coaching with
Yeah.
it. You know, what about yourself?
Yeah, well, pretty much the same, really. My journey was probably half of a track of a journey for me from where I was to where I am now.
Mm.
In that I also trained in parallel with it. I was training to be a hypnotherapist at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So yeah, no,
So
it's brilliant. It's such a I just, yeah, I think everybody could, and even young children could really hone those skills of NLP, because I just think they transfer across all measures of life, don't they?
I
Um,
think it should be taught in schools to children, to be honest with you. But I think we're
yeah.
probably a few years off it becoming mainstream like that.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Well, we are gifted. And good morning. It's 9:01. It's 9:01, and I'm Nadine
Good morning.
Benjamin, and I'm the Intuitive Verdi Soprano. I'm a certified NLP mind coach, I'm a certified high performance coach, and I'm a healer. I'm also a professional opera singer who loves singing all over the world, and I love connecting, championing, and celebrating people. And this morning we have the wonderful Martin Stiles, who's going to be talking to us all about dealing with anxiety and depression. He
Mm.
is a hypnotherapist, a hypno-psychotherapist, and an NLP mind coach. He has started his career 35 years as a pharmacist, and then transitioned 13 years ago into a hypnotherapist, psychotherapist, and NLP mind coach. So we're very lucky to have him here today. He deals with all measures of anxiety, from stress to phobias, among many more things. And it is great to have him here. Just as I always say, we are not medical doctors or GPs or psychiatrists here. So just remember that everything that is suggested here is a way for you to help with your personal development. They're not to be put in place of any type of medication that has been prescribed or prescribed for you. If you absolutely need any help around this stuff, please, please, please reach out to the many organisations that are available, or to your local GP. And also we will put some things in the chat box afterwards, or the comments box afterwards, so that there's other places that you can avail of. Anyway, good morning, Martin, and good morning, Lena. Lovely to see you. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
So tell us, I mean, you've got a wonderful story. So just tell us a little bit about, being a pharmacist, what that was like. And yeah, tell us a little bit like that.
Oh, well, I was a pharmacist really straight from leaving university. You do a year in practice with a qualified pharmacist before they really turn you loose.
Mm.
But for me, I graduated from Nottingham University in 1977. I'm right. So I didn't have the grey hair then. Um, and I worked most of my career, and certainly all my career in England,
Oh,
was with Boots. I was a manager with Boots, and
okay.
they used to move you around from one part of the country to another at fairly rapid intervals. You know, I was never really in one place more than a couple of years,
Mm.
and that was great when I was younger. And when I was in my mid-30s, they moved me to central London.
Mm.
And at the time, central London was a place where Boots had historically not been strong.
Mm.
And they were buying up chains of things in London, really expanding. And it
Mm.
was the place to go
Yeah,
to get on, you know.
yeah.
So I jumped in. And unfortunately for me, the area manager down there at the time was a real hard faced character.
Mm.
And his the whole values that he worked to, I suppose, were all about getting it done.
Yeah.
And I want you to have it done by Friday. And if you can't have it done by Friday, I'll get somebody who can. And that
Yeah.
was the way he worked. And I'd always, really, since I started, I've been more interested in people and developing teams. And I always felt quite strongly there was a right way to do things. And not necessarily the way that gets it done by Friday, but the way that gets it done eventually.
Yeah.
So this guy didn't really like me, and I didn't really like him.
Oh God.
And as a result of that, I ended up suffering from depression.
Oh wow.
And I couldn't work for about 6 months. I was
Wow.
so bad. I was literally at home almost with a pillow over my head, trying to close myself off from the world.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough at the time, I don't know if they still do it now, but the NHS actually sent a counsellor around to my house once a week.
Wow.
A little guy came around there, Michael was his name, and he listened to me going on and on about the same thing week after week. And Michael managed to persuade me that my future didn't lie with Boots. I had to do something else.
Wow.
So I started applying for jobs elsewhere and forgot about trying to win this battle I couldn't win.
Yeah.
And I ended up, the job that I got just happened to be in Ireland, which is where I live now.
Yeah. Oh,
And
wow.
have lived for 28 years.
Yeah.
So I carried on working as a pharmacist.
Yeah. Yeah.
But of course, I had a lot of interest in people who were anxious and depressed because I'd been there. So as they came into the shop, I'd be talking to them about how they were feeling and this kind of thing. And I never felt I was curing them, you know?
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of, oh, hello, Nadine, how are you?
Yeah.
Here's your Prozac or whatever.
Yeah.
And then after 3 months, I'd be saying to you, you know, you need to get another prescription now. And I felt like I was maintaining people rather than actually curing them. And what happened was a kind of epiphany, I suppose. I just happened to have had a really tiring day at work. And it was one of those days where you come home and you sit in front of the telly and you think, you know, I'll just watch whatever's on. And I'm there kind of mindlessly eating my dinner, watching what was on. And it just happened to be Paul McKenna.
Oh, wow.
And it was a series called I Can Change Your Life.
Oh, yes. I remember that.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
God, when would it be? Early 90s, probably?
I don't know, but I've seen it later than that. He came on telly. I think
Maybe it was later than
about 8 years ago or something.
Yeah, I'm getting my time screwed up in my head. But there I was watching this, and suddenly I thought, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I'd always thought about hypnosis as being something that was like a magic power that some people had, you know, and that they could just go woo-woo or whatever, and everything had changed. And I just realised that this guy was a normal guy who was just following some techniques very cleverly.
Yeah.
And so I started looking online to find out what I could find, and I found Brian Colbert.
Yeah. Of the Irish Institute of NLP.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And while I was waiting for that course to actually come round, because I thought to myself, do you know what, I'm going to go on that course and see what I think. And I became a little obsessed with the whole thing and started absorbing everything I could online.
So did I! I was starting the same thing!
Bad, isn't it? And I realised that what I wanted to do was actually therapy.
Yeah.
So that I was going to need more than just NLP. But I thought, oh, come on, one thing at a time. See how you get on the NLP course, and if you like it, I discovered you could train as a hypnotherapist actually in Cork. So I went off for my practitioner course in Dublin, and I think I decided by the end of day one that this is what I wanted to do. So I signed up for the hypnotherapy course, and some time later, I had the 2 qualifications, which I've been kind of building on since.
Yeah, it's interesting. I went the other way. I trained for 2 years as a psychotherapist.
Yeah.
And it was in my second year of training as a psychotherapist, I was like, I don't want to be a psychotherapist. I want to just coach. I want to quickly transition people out of things. For me, that's what I realised. And so I realised I was a better coach. So I didn't do my 3rd year of training as a psychotherapist. No, because I just felt that it wasn't it just wasn't relevant for me anyway.
Mm.
But I love the coaching side of it so much. So you mentioned a couple of things.
Okay.
You know, you mentioned Boots, and I just want to, I'm going to just give them a little bit of celebration just now in terms of what they're doing at the moment. They're making safe spaces for women who are going through, or people or men who are going through domestic violence. And, you know, they're making their places in their pharmacy where people...
The consultation rooms.
Yeah, they're making consultation rooms. I have to celebrate that, you know. I really celebrate that, because I'm
fair to Boots. Boots have always been at the heart of local communities, even though they're a huge chain.
Yeah.
My problems with them were just with one person.
Yeah, but and that's the next thing I was going to go to, because what I'm hearing is something that most probably loads of people do actually go through. Is you were talking about you had one working style and this other manager had another working style.
Yeah,
is that something that causes lots of anxiety for lots of people?
I think it can. I think it can do in terms of jobs. It can also happen in relationships as well.
Yeah.
If you get people whose values clash.
Yeah.
Now, none of us are the same. Your values will be different than mine.
Yeah.
The things that are important to you in life to go towards,
Yeah.
and the things that are important to go away from.
Yeah.
You become friends, or you can work with somebody when your values kind of knit together, rather than
because I was just identifying that as you were talking, that most would be lots of people go through this time where they've got one learning style and another boss has got another learning style.
Yeah.
This clash is what creates the anxiety. It's not necessarily about the actual person. Sometimes it's just about the styles of working that don't, as you say, work with the value system.
Absolutely, and knowing what your own values are is something that a lot of people actually have never really thought about.
Yeah.
What do I really need in life to make me happy?
Yes.
What do I need to avoid, like the plague, if that's something to say at the moment, as we all try to avoid it.
Yeah.
There's actually Brian Colbert's book, The Happiness Habit.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Has some good exercises in it.
I've got it right. Yeah.
You've got a copy there, have you?
Oh, sure. I've got it right here.
That's it, the yellow one, and excellent book, and it's got some really practical, what's the word I'm looking for? Exercises and guides.
Yeah.
To help you manage your own brain, which is really what it's all about.
Yeah. So, hey Susan, hey Marjorie, lovely to see you both. So could you tell us or just let us into, what do you think people are experiencing now in terms of anxiety or depression, or what do you think they could be experiencing now?
Well, I suppose what I'm thinking about here is not like clinical depression, not the full-blown thing, or really bad anxiety that would need to go to a therapist for. But these rather strange circumstances we find ourselves in can lead us to experience some of these symptoms of depression. For example, lack of control over what's going on, fear about the future, or not even being able to see the future. Those are two things that are part of the depressed way of thinking.
Yeah.
So it's good to kind of be aware of that and try and catch yourself doing them and then change it. So in terms of looking towards the future, for example, I mean, we're in England, I'm in Ireland, where we've got a little bit of a roadmap now, but we don't know whether we're going to follow it at the speed the government says. You guys, I think, are waiting for Boris, aren't you?
I think so. Yeah.
So then you might have a little bit of an idea of where you're going, but in the meantime, there's just a big blank out there. So what I'm often suggesting to people who are depressed, because depressed people are always looking at the past. Where did I go wrong? Why was it me? That kind of thing. They're never looking forward. So what I'm always trying to do is encouraging them to look forward in some way. Short term, medium term, and long term. And short term might be just, I'm looking forward to seeing Nadine's show in the morning.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah. Or medium term might be, next week I might start doing something in the garden.
Yeah.
For example, Carol's off at Aldi at the moment. She's buying a strimmer to replace my broken one. So part of my medium-term plan is doing some strimming. It's only small things. Long-term is more, what am I going to do when all this is over? Perhaps have a holiday or something. Where can I go? But as long as there's something in those slots, short-term, medium-term, long-term, at least your mind is future-focused then, and it pulls one of the legs off that depression bug.
And what about with anxiety then? Because
anxiety is a strange thing, really, because it's entirely imagined. People come to see me with all kinds of different anxieties, things they might be worried about, or phobias or whatever, and they can actually experience them while they're sitting there in the chair in the office, and yet there are no spiders, there are no aeroplanes, there are no whatever the thing is that they're worried about. It's all in the mind. Now, of course, once you know that, NLP is all about the process that's going on, and what's happening for most people is they form an image. Imagination, the birth of an image in your mind, and of course your unconscious part of your mind, that reptilian primitive part of the brain, reacts to things it sees and hears and smells and touches, and then it produces hormones which cause a feeling, and all that happens quite quickly. So you can get in there before that by thinking about what am I seeing, what am I imagining, or what am I saying to myself in my head? And how am I doing it? So typically the scary image, the anxious image, I don't know if anybody listening has any experience of this, but typically the image is big, close, overpowering. So the first thing to do is think, right, okay, I see you. Now I'm going to push you away. I'm going to make you smaller. I'm going to make you like a tiny little black and white picture. In the corner of the screen, like the size of a postage stamp, and then I'm going to drop you down the toilet or fire to you, or do whatever you want. Just use your imagination in a creative way. And notice what happens when you allow yourself to think of something good. If you close your eyes and think about somebody that you really love, and you can imagine them there in front of you, and they're smiling at you. And you can almost reach out and touch them when they look at you in that way. That it means that they love you, and notice how it makes you feel. You can't help but go with it. So it's a case of getting into the habit of doing that kind of thing.
So it's like interrupting the pattern of somebody's
absolutely.
Thoughts. And so when you say that anxiety is imagined, are you saying that it's a story that we keep telling ourselves in our mind?
It can be. For some people, it's more of a dialogue than if you have a voice in your head that says, oh God, you know what, you're such an idiot. If you keep hearing that over and over, that's going to make you feel bad. And quite often those voices start with some kind of authority figure, usually a parent or a teacher or somebody like that, or a manager. My internal voice was my mum. And the voice would tell me what I should do and what I shouldn't do, and more importantly, what I shouldn't have done and what I should have done. And that used to be at me all the time, and that was very useful advice when I was a little boy.
But it changes. It becomes not so useful when you're an adult.
Exactly. So when I was in my 40s, my 50s, whatever, did I really need mum in there telling me what I should and shouldn't have done? It's like having a satellite navigator that says 200 yards ago you should have turned left. So what you can do is change the voice. Have it say something nice to you, or change it. If you can't do that, make it sound ridiculous. Give it make it sound like Boris Johnson. I don't know.
It's okay.
Donald Trump.
No thanks.
Because then you won't take it seriously.
So tell me, what kind of tips, like you've mentioned a few there, that can people just keep going on a daily basis that they can kind of try out?
Well, those two for one. Think about what you're seeing, think about what you're hearing, and do what you can with your imagination to alter it and see how it feels.
Yeah.
If you're looking forward to something and you're kind of dreading it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got that meeting on Friday. Oh my God, it's going to be. Imagine what it would be like if it went really well.
Yeah.
What it would look like from the outside, seeing you in the meeting and it going really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you can step into your own body and be you in the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And a really simple thing for that depressed, gloomy, everything is going wrong feeling. There's a weird thing that happens with the way we process information. For some reason, when we access our feelings, we look down in order to do it.
Yeah.
And depressed people, typically, their eyes are down all the time. They're looking at the floor. And what I would often say to them is, roll your eyes up and look at the ceiling and try and feel depressed.
Yeah.
You
it's
can't
very
do
difficult, isn't it, when you put your eyes up?
you nearly can't do it, because that's where your eyes go
Yeah.
when you're visualizing something.
Yeah.
That's why creative people, when they're trying to think about what their inspiration is going to be, it's almost natural to do it, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Think about that. And if you feel a bit glum, just look up, look at the sky.
Yeah.
Look at the top of the window in front of me there, and it's very hard to keep the feeling.
That's one of the first things I learned, actually, around, changing where our eye accesses goes, our eye access cues goes.
Yeah.
And, actually that really worked for me. It's just looking up, because it immediately, it draws the body up as well.
It does that
and
too.
And opens the body out. So then your whole body changes state. And that's the other thing, isn't it? About, people, when you're in anxiety or when you're in feeling some form of depression, is about what state, how we change our state. And I know from
a simple way to stop you accessing your feelings if your feelings are bad.
Yeah.
You can't get them when you're doing that.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things that I found, because I have had times in my life where I've had really low levels of depression. I'm very open about that, and one of the things that I noticed, a tool that I noticed for myself, is that as soon as I get up, I must get in the shower. So the thing, I don't know what it is about the water hitting the back of my neck, but as soon as it hits the back of my neck, it's like my brain goes, woo, and I'm completely, like, all my energy starts flowing. I feel alive. So it's one of the things that I usually make a suggestion if somebody's feeling a bit low, that they get up every morning, even if they go back to bed.
Yeah.
That they actually get up every morning and get in the shower or get a bath of some kind. That kind of wakes the system up. Well, do you know why that could possibly be?
Well, it's a phenomenon that in this game we call anchoring.
Yes.
What happens is you experience the world through your five senses. And in this case, it's your sense of touch. And you've begun to associate that sense of touch on your back with a good feeling. So it works for you. It can be any one of the five senses. Touch is actually an unusual one, but more commonly it's sight or sound. So it's like you see, that person that really gets on your nerves, and when you see them coming, you think, oh God, even before they've said anything, because their face is associated with that feeling. So your unconscious mind, which learns by repetition, just knows, oh, you want to see them, that's trouble. Does it straight away.
Yeah.
It can be a sound. Because I worked in retail for 30 odd years, I absolutely loathe Christmas pop songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I only have to hear, because I used to hear them all day. I only have to hear the first two bars of one of those Christmas pop songs, and I think, oh God. So it's like a trigger. Whereas for most people, Christmas pop songs, it's party time, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's not that the music has a particularly powerful effect, it just is connected.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you can do that on purpose if you have a good feeling like you have.
Yeah.
And you think, how do I access that good feeling? I get in the shower.
Yeah. And that this time as well. So I've had the opposite feeling as well for and it's funny that you say that the shower is about touch, because that's really interesting, because for myself, I've realised that I like having a cuddle. So I was like, how would I suggest that I have a cuddle? So what I've been doing is running a hot bath.
Mm-hmm.
And I run a hot bath and I make sure the bath goes up to my neck and I get in, and it feels like there's a big, lovely arm going all the way around me.
Yeah.
Now,
when you are, and of course, this is the trick now, of course, is when you're in a good feeling like that.
Yeah.
Think, how can I connect that to something that I can get anytime I want?
Yeah.
So, because obviously you can't have a shower or get in the bath, say, when you do this now.
Yeah.
So the thing to do is, while you're in the feeling, really experience it, pump it up inside you, and then do something like that. Just touch your finger and thumb together.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath. And that becomes connected to your good feeling too. And that's something I do a lot with people who are anxious by habit. But remember a time when you felt good.
Yeah.
Remember where you were and what you could see and what you could hear and what you could feel and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that you can start to feel it inside.
So it's like you're building and making a new picture.
Absolutely.
And a new picture that you can transfer with the old one.
So calm for me starts with what I installed was a time when I was on holiday. I was in the Cotswolds. I was sitting in a garden, and I had a glass of wine, and the birds were singing, and I could smell the flowers. All the five senses were in there. So I would close my eyes and think of those things.
Yeah.
I might want to try it now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just close your eyes and think of that time when you felt really calm and relaxed and safe. And see the things you can see around you in your mind's eye. The colours, the movement, the light and shade, what's close and what's far away. And start to add the sounds in. Background sounds, nearby sounds, far away sounds, noticing how loud or quiet they are. Put in any sense of taste or smell that there might be. It's not always there, but can be quite powerful when it is. And last of all, your sense of touch. Are you sitting, standing, lying down? What's supporting you underneath? What's the tone of your muscles? The way you breathe? The rate of your heart? The rhythm of your body? And as you do that, you can start to notice where inside you that good calm feeling is. Most people find it somewhere on the center line, but it could be anywhere. Notice where it is for you and imagine that if that feeling had a colour, what colour would it be? Make it bigger and brighter and let it start to spread through your body. That's it. So the feeling goes with it. So you feel so good, it's almost a crime. And then as it peaks, that's when you take a deep breath and touch the finger and thumb together. That's it. Then open your eyes. And usually that still feels pretty good as you open your eyes. So what you're doing now, if you practice that 2 or 3 times, you get an anchor that you can use anywhere.
Yeah.
So people who are dying for a cigarette, for example, where does the cigarette take them when they smoke it?
Yeah.
Connect it to an anchor, the same feeling. And then all you have to do is take a deep breath and do that. So if you're in a meeting and you're dying for a cigarette, all you need to do is that. And no one ever sees it. No one notices you doing it because you don't have to hold it up and do it. The table.
Yeah.
So that's a simple trick that that people can use if they want.
Yeah.
And if you think it's any use, I have the instructions for that on a PDF which I could send to you.
Oh yes, please. We can put it in the comment section. That would be great, and then people could use that as a tool. So Susan is saying, I'm like you, Nadine. As soon as I wake up, I have to shower, and I love the hot water hitting the back of my neck. Dress and sets me up for the day. Exactly, Susan. Yeah, it's just one of my things. So tell us, Martin, where can we find you?
Right. Well, my website. I'm based in Ireland. I live in Cork.
Yeah.
I've been here 28 years and I still haven't got the accent. But my website is riversidehypnotherapy.com. Riverside Hypnotherapy is all one word. And there's a page on there with a contact box if people want to get in touch with me through that. I'm not really a Twitter person.
Yeah. That's okay. So but that would be very kind of you, Martin, if you could put that PDF, because then I can put that in the comment section.
I'll do
that. That would be lovely.
And if anybody is feeling stressed or anything with the lockdown, I'm not really doing a lot at the moment, so feel free to contact me if you want to,
Oh,
and we can always talk over some platform like this.
yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And do you have any final thoughts for us, Martin? Anything?
Really, I suppose just try and stay positive, and
Yeah.
if anything, thinking of the lockdown thing now, and that sense of being out of control, focus on the things you can control.
Mm,
Focus on the things that you can do, and try not to worry too much about the things that you can't do,
yeah.
because there is still a lot that's open to us. My garden's there. I've got more opportunity than I would normally have to do it. I
Yeah.
can do things like this, talking to you,
Yeah.
all stuff that I wouldn't normally have to do. So look for the positives in it, and the things you can control, and try and be looking forward in an optimistic way rather than a pessimistic one.
Yeah, it's what I've always I've been saying along the whole time that I've been here, is about just simply scheduling one's day the night before, or scheduling the whole week. I like to schedule
Yeah,
the whole week, because then I've made the conscious choices about what's going to happen with my time and how I'm
yeah,
going to manage those activities. And also, what I also realise is that I feel more empowered, and that's what I've noticed with other people. They say they feel more empowered because they've made those conscious decisions to even sit in front of Netflix for 5 hours, but it's
yeah,
been a decision that they've made rather
absolutely.
than one that they've fallen into, you
Yeah,
know. So the power of that, just kind of setting intention almost,
yeah.
is very, very, very effective.
And that's all part of scheduling is all part of having something to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, every day becomes just the same as the one before.
Yeah. Oh, Martin, thank you so much. It's been lovely to have you this morning. Thank you for having a
Thank
chat with me.
thank you for having.
Um, yes, and thank you for getting up so early. And we've just been spending this whole time, talking about anxiety, but between you and I and setting this all up today, that was like, it's taken nearly an hour and a half yesterday, and like nearly half an hour this morning. And we were thinking to ourselves, weren't we, like, oh my gosh, isn't this a practice
Yeah,
of how to stay still when things can be anxiety making? And what I loved about what we did was we just kept checking in and just going, well, would this work? And would this
yeah.
work? And we were consistently finding solutions for that.
And we did it with about a minute to spare, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. So it's really great a test. And that's what I say to people when people say to me, Nadine, you're a coach, or your friend's a psychotherapist, or that person's a great spiritual thought leader, or they're a great da 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 da. It's not that they are different from anybody. It just means that they've got more tools in the trunk. And because they've got more tools in the trunk, it takes a split second to change state,
Yeah,
rather than staying in the state for a really long time. So that's what we get practiced at, is those tools and those skills that change our state. So
yeah,
your PDF would be really fantastic to move somebody through a state, and as one of those tools. That would be fantastic.
yeah. I'll upload that afterwards. It probably won't be for an hour or so.
No, that's grand. No problem. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, everybody. Most of all, thank you, Martin, so much for being with us. Sending so much joy to everybody today. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.